구슬이랑 딱지랑 같이 쓰는 친구 말이야. 네 거 내 거 없이.
깐부. 기억나네요.
It's been said before that the best things take time, and this masterpiece was 10 years in the making. Squid Game has sat comfortably at the #1 position in over 22 countries since its release, and it's no secret why. Stunning camera work, strong and compelling characters, and the simple premise of survival in a hostile environment. Not only is Netflix rolling in the dough, but they've taken advertising for this sleeper hit to a whole new level. Today, we're taking you through the exciting behind-the-scenes footage that captures the hard work, fun, and whimsy that went into making Squid Game. From director commentary to actors' perspectives, these guys are bearing it all. If you're just as obsessed with great television and film, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more.
아이씨, 하나 더 깔까 그랬나?
In case you're living under a rock, Squid Game follows down-and-out gambling addict Sung Ji-hun, who enters a high-stakes survival competition. But this is not the usual Bear Grylls-hosted wilderness show. Here, the winner of 6 children's games earns a whopping 45.6 billion won. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's because it is. The losers don't walk away with anything, not even their life. The haunting trailer filled with whimsical colors quickly turns dark as you realize that this isn't a great situation to be in. Such a series can spark debates about class, society, and the illusion of success. And it has. There are so many nuanced layers of what it means to be desperate and how hard it is to get out of a financial hole. According to the showrunners, that was the only part of the reason why they created this series. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk revealed that he had birthed the idea nearly 10 years ago. Like most great writing, this idea came from a place of pain and relatability. Hwang revealed that he was struggling with debt and often contemplated the idea of such a game and whether he'd be willing to put his life on the line. But that wasn't the only driving force behind the masterpiece. Hwang discussed the difficulty of getting the show to the production stage, saying at the time it seemed very unfamiliar and violent. There were people who thought it was a little too complex and not commercial. I wasn't able to get enough investment and casting was difficult. I dabbled in it for about a year, but I had to put it to sleep then, Hwang explained. He stated that at the time that he wrote the gory series, he was a fan of comic books, and he often frequented comic stores throughout the year, and it took him to pen the classic series. He also stated that the evolution of society over the past few years prompted him to revisit the script and add a few things. In a time where people are looking for fast money, scams are more prevalent than ever. It's kind of a sad story, but this deadly game compares quite a bit to the things we see today as investing in coins and such, said director Hwang Dong-hyuk. Times have changed, and people have told me that it reminds them of things that are happening in this tough society. With that, I expanded the story about 2 years ago, and now we are here, he added. Though the premise is nothing new, with the show drawing comparisons from previous works such as Hunger Games and Battle Royale. The Korean perspectives and culture highlighted throughout the 9 episodes are refreshing. With the constant comparison between the haves and have-nots in the series, one can only imagine how painstakingly set the design and construction must have been. The set alone tells the story of the reality we live in versus the reality we would like to escape to. The bright, somewhat childish colors contrast heavily with the drab and brown outside world. The director stated that he wanted the game sets to remind the actors of a playground. You can get a lot of metaphors from that alone. The set also points the finger at the VIPs watching the game. To them, this competition is just that, a game. They don't take it seriously and are just having fun watching people die from money, and the set reflects the detachment that these VIPs have towards reality. The set also ensures another aspect that's often lost with quick, modern Hollywood movies: longevity. Building sets has become something of a privilege in today's CGI-filled world. The elaborate and detailed sets in Squid Game ensure that as the time passes, the show will age gracefully and keep its timeless looks. But what about the actors themselves? What was their reaction to this wildly beautiful but haunting set? Well, they were generous with their explanations, while expressing what they felt as they experienced the meticulously built set for the first time. Produced by Siren Pictures Inc., the shocking sets have become somewhat of a pop culture phenomenon today. Fans clamor to see where the wildest moments of the series were filmed, and the actors felt the same. For one, filming was held in South Korea. Lee Jung-gae, who plays Sung, spoke of the awe he felt while walking through the set the first day. "We were busy taking pictures," he said. "The set was almost dreamlike." Actor Wai Hun-jan, who played Jun-ho, echoed the same sentiments. "Reading the script, I could imagine a picture of the sets, but the real-life sets were completely different," he said. Jung Yeon, who has become an overnight celebrity thanks to her raw portrayal of North Korean defector Se-byuk, felt that the sets were fantastic and magical. "It's hard to believe that this is her first acting role, as she gave such a strong performance that made her seem like an old pro."
그러다 걸리면 죽어.
Ho-yeon was previously a top model working with elite management. Apparently, she was getting ready for New York Fashion Week when she got the call to audition for Squid Game. Hearing the director attached to the project, she dropped everything and flew back to South Korea, and the rest, as they say, is history. The games themselves were a revival of old childhood games that were played long before the internet and iPads came on the scene. If you remember running for your life while your friends shout "red light, green light," then the first game in the show probably feels a little eerie. Art director Chae Kyung-sung looked to the 1970s and drew inspiration from artists like Chel Soo and Young Shi when it came to designing that creepy, motion-sensing robot. Don't you get chills thinking of that 360-degree exorcism head turn? Yikes! The robot has been kept under wraps at a museum where many iconic Squid Game structures might be found. The second game, Honeycomb, is just as memorable. Actress Jung Ho-young recalls her days on set as she laughs about the memory burn she has from the honeycomb. Apparently, there was a cook on set who made the honeycomb throughout the filming process, and all you could smell was a sweet snack. The director had requested that they use real honeycomb objects for authenticity, of course, and so the art director made it happen. Sounds sweet. Well, mostly. The third game, Tug of War, is something most of us have played, but without the deadly consequences that Sung and the other players faced. The actors felt the full emotion of the scene as they struggled with the push and pull that their characters were going through. Actor Park Hae-soo, who played the somewhat morally compromised Sang-woo, spoke of the intensity in the scene, saying, "I found out it requires great strength. The game required, of course, great physical strength, but of course, it was a matter of emotion and mind. Someone had to die, and I had to kill someone in order to live." The scene was, in fact, emotionally charged, and it laid the perfect groundwork for the fourth game, Marbles. Yet another game from an earlier time, the marble scene offers up the skills and ability of these set designers. They literally built an entire village that fully immersed the players and the audience in this old town. It felt more like grown-ups returning to the alleys and homes of their childhood. Actor Oh Young-soo, who played the old man Il-nam, felt connected to this set as it reminded him of his past. He drew inspiration from the surroundings while filming this crucial scene. "I once played marbles," he said, "so it reminded me of the past. The game of marbles. The game represents human beings' falsehoods and integrity. Those are scenes of human nature." It was one of the longest sets to build, and they combined the realism of the set with the false sunset that enveloped the scene in that eerie orange color. The fifth game, Glass Stepping Stones, was one of the most daring and fear-inducing for the cast. They brought in tempered glass for the actors to jump on so that they could fully grasp the fear in the scene. The set that featured the glass tiles was 1 meter above ground, and there was no real threat to safety, but the psychological aspect of seeing the ground through glass only added to the tension. Jung Ho-young called the experience terrifying, while director Wang stated that it felt like jumping off of a high bridge. The fear worked in their favor as this scene was as tense as humanly possible. Then we have the biggest game of all, Squid Game. We already know how this game is played thanks to the brilliant narration in the first episode's opening, but the magnitude is certainly different. Seeing Sang-woo and Ji-hun play the game as bloodied adults with skewed morality is different. The show draws even more parallels when it's revealed that the game will be played in the same arena that the first game was played in. Where the first game had many in the arena, the last game only has 2. I wonder if the director knew that each moment would have so many levels of poetry to it. It also looks like the BTS shots were a lot more vibrant and wholesome than the actual series. The castmates seemed to get along well, and it looks like they had a lot of fun. With rumors of a second season, it's going to be hard to match the wit, grit, and storytelling of season 1 that took years to perfect. Well, no matter how long it takes, I'd love a follow-up of the show. Maybe take things globally. What would the Squid Games look like in South Africa? Oh, the possibilities. But enough about me. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes peek, then give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more cool videos just like this. See you in the next one.
공기놀이나 고무줄 이런 건 안 못 찰 거야. 나 그거 선수야.